And the eyes expect you with a jam. Oh, land of my birth. Let's celebrate 50. We cannot wait my birth. Let's celebrate 50. It would be great. We don't talk much about your troubles. No, no. You have been through many struggles. That's true. Yet you rose up from the rubbles. Yeah, yeah. Proving resilience as a people. Storms and hurricane. Yet you came back again. Even COVID-19 couldn't stop you. So much destructive human try to destroy this island. Yet we're standing strong as a nation. This is the land. Let's remember the godfather of this country. This is the land. The right honorable Eric Matthew Gary. Land of my birth. Let's celebrate 50. We cannot wait of my birth. Let's celebrate 50. It will be great. This is the land. Yeah, Mary Shokit, Mitchell and Deacon. This is the land. Some strong leaders that come from this island. Land of my birth. Let's celebrate 50. We cannot wait of my birth. Let's celebrate 50. It would be great. Big celebration for my little island. Let's celebrate. Oh, let us celebrate. Big celebration for my little island. Let's celebrate. Whoa, whoa, let us celebrate. Let's celebrate 50. We made it to half a century. Let's celebrate. Whoa, whoa, come, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate 50. We made it to half a century. Let's celebrate. Yeah, yeah, let's celebrate. Whoa, this is the land. We have got Felix and Jennifer hosting. This is the land. Maurice Bishop, Howard Blaze and George Prison. Land of my birth. Let's celebrate 50. We cannot wait of my birth. Let's celebrate 50. It will be great. This is the land. We have Killer Boys, it all free and squeezy. This is the land. Dash Terra Thunder and Little Natty. Land of my birth. Mr. Leg, King Scholar, Teacher Eddie. Land of my birth. Valley Ned and Lady Cindy. Land of my birth. Lava Man, who live back and electrify. Land of my birth. Whoa, 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 whoa. Land of my birth. I just cannot mention everybody. Land of my birth. All Grenadians just sing this song with me. Land of my birth. Land of my birth. Land of my birth. Land of my birth. Land of my birth.
One people, one journey, one future is all we. Yeah, is all we.
Good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name is Sheldon Scott. I'm here with you until the 10 o'clock hour.
Centuries colonized in the 18th centuries, independence.
It's a beautiful Monday night in the Isle of Spice.
Thanks to Mr. Eric Gary and to T.F.
Of course, yeah, there's a beautiful moon outside.
Come on, some call the Conception Island, other for the.
But if you're asthmatic, you might not be able to go outside and take a look, because I'm telling you, man, that dust has been thick for the entire day. Those of us who have sinuses or asthmatic and those kind of things, and those who are as unlucky as some of us to have both asthma and sinusitis, wow, it's absolutely difficult. So it is a wonderful Monday. Let's just say a special good night to those of you joining us via the various mediums. Those of you joining us via 91.9, 91.5 Real FM, we say a special good night to each and every one of you. Hope that you are having a wonderful night tonight. And of course, those of you who are joining us, those of you who are joining us via We Noise Radio 94.9 out there in Brooklyn, hope that you're having a wonderful night as well. Good night to you, Wade. Good night to Lady Fran and the whole squad. Yeah, the whole squad. Nice, yeah, special good night to you. And you know, I don't want to get in problems with my Canadian listeners. So let me just do a blanket statement and say a very special good night to all the Canadian listeners. That doesn't let me forget it. So a special good night to all of you out there in Canada. Don't worry, the rest of you all getting your thing just now, man.
Freedom for so, thanks to we truly prefer. Together we'll build aspire. Together build advance. That's the motto of my land, my sweet homeland, 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 Grenada.
Yes, folks, and as it is a Monday, you know we're going to open the phone lines from the beginning. 440-7377, 347-329-3101. This is going to be a very interesting week. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Rather be than right here in my country.
I know we'll be joined by a guest tomorrow night, the Honorable Emlyn Pear. She's going to be on with us tomorrow night from 8 p.m. So make sure you put that alarm into your phone or wherever. Yes, the Honorable Emlyn Pear. She's going to be on with us tomorrow night.
Have you seen no water sculptures? Welcome stone, the lakes of wonders. Mountain high and fireside. You will always meet a smile. Face and
Sandra,
till we
good night.
and help build this country. This is home, welcome to my place. Rain or shine, it's plenty niceness. That's the place we truly prefer. Together we'll build aspire. Together build advance. That's the motto of my land, my sweet homeland, my land, my sweet homeland.
Yeah, let me see who is on the YouTube tonight before we begin. And as I said, the phone lines are open. We have things to speak about, but the phone lines are open. What do this thing? Fix up yourself here. Yeah, looking out of the way. What's the matter with you? Yeah. All right, so let's see. Yeah, Francis, George, Agnes, Henry, Phyllis, Mitchell, Alban. Harris, good night to you, bro. Edmund Calise, Veronica Lewis, Errol Bonaparte, Jackie Raymond. No, let me say the thing proper. Jackie Raymond, Debbie Seals, Claude Abraham, bro. You hear the thing cleaner? Nice, right. Irva Purcell, Maria Noel, Anne-Marie Celestine Grant, good night to you. Sherma Jeremiah and Zayla, good night to both of you. Jacinta Livingston, good night to you, my Jacinta. I haven't heard you for a little while. Yeah, Gavin Thomas, Cynthia Bartholomew, Deborah Laborde, Carl Jones, good night to you, Jonesy. Good life, good night. Hermina Batiste, Gemma Warwood, Janice Mitchell. We had to change Janice to Janice. Yeah, I'll stop saying Janice. From now on, you are Janice, right? Janice Mitchell. Sandra Joseph, good night to you. Gospel, Faithlyn Holly Douglas. Carib Spice Witness, Matthew Boyne, Denise Donaldson, and Andrews, Shirley and James, Michelle Alexander, Yolan Pariak, Jesse Sherry, what's up? Lona Lolo Williams, Elsie Peters, Adrian Watts, good night to your wife, and then good night to you. All right. Dolores Redhead, Kathleen Knights, let me see, Dennis Joseph, good night to you and your husband. Natalia John, Jacket Man, good night, bro. Eliza Bernard, Arlene Fletcher, Teresa Joseph, Vanessa Lalji, Sherma Alexander, good night from Calgary to you. And Winnie Simon, Patsy Frank, Christine Otley, Gloria Francois, Hilary Joseph, Maud Martin, Wilfred Antoine, Baby Daddy, Clive Raymond, Dennis Fabrio, Earl Benjamin, Jerome Lewis, Stephanie John, Jocelyn Matteson, Jenny Samuel, Roland Batiste, Hermione Caliste, Devon Romain, Solia, we seen by Shams Houston, I know he is listening. Karen Hazard, Jocelyn Matteson, John Stafford, good night. All right, let me see who's there. Kenny Buckmeyer, Sky, Ron Julian, Red Girl Pascal, Gillian Noel, Alan Jones, good night to you, and Zoe and Michelle. Harrow Ogilvy, good night to you, Xavier. Good night to you, Adejan. Good night to you, Namara. Good night to you, Neela. So good night to each and every one of you. Those of you joining us on the Facebook as well. For some reason, I'm not able to pull up the list on Facebook, so you might have to skip the Facebook. Sorry about that. Might have to skip the Facebook for tonight. Yeah, because for some reason, there's an error that's popping up here, so I'm not getting to see. Let me see who I see. Oh, yeah, there is it. Dixie and Charmaine, Olive, Brave Boy, Diana, Linda, Imelda, Francois, Pamela, Sherry Lambert, Justin Baptiste, Sonny Isle, Dr. Julie Dubois. Dr. Dubois, congratulations on being awarded by the people of St. Mark for your exemplary work over a number of years, quite a few years, yeah? Yeah, quite a few years of dedicated service to the people of St. Mark and Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique as well. Right. Gillian Prescott, good night to you. Nurse Maguire, good night. Peter Mitchell, yeah, I think that's what I saw there. Maria Ramsey, Leroy St. Paul, June Julian, Nelsia Charles. Good night to all of you under the Facebook as well. Yeah, good night to everybody. Everybody, good night. Who I forget is not by spite, right?
That you'd rather be than right here in my country. I'm telling you, go all over the world. No place that you'd rather be than right here in my country.
A special good night to all listeners up there in beautiful St. Patrick.
Beauty for all, with white and sandy beaches, number one and free for all. Have you seen no water sculptures? Welcome stone, the lakes of wonders, mountain high and fireside. You will always meet a smile. Face and race don't matter to we. Hearts and hands help build this country. This is home, welcome to my place. Rain or shine, it's plenty niceness. That's the place we truly prefer. Together we'll build a spire. Together build advance. That's the motto of my land, my sweet homeland. My land, my sweet homeland. My land,
Can't believe I just crashed my WhatsApp.
sweet homeland.
Okay, I got it back nice.
My sweet homeland. Grenada.
So, folks, the phone lines are open 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. I want to make sure that you all like and share tonight's program. Like it and share the program. When you like and you share the program, it helps it go to others. So people who may not have known about the program, other people who may have seen it sometime last year, but they lost contact with it. It helps Facebook and it helps YouTube to put it back in front of them so that they would see the program again. So make sure that you like the program. Make sure that you share the program so that we would be able to get more people listening to the program. Yeah, certain people frightened about the number. We don't have time to be checking how much people watching and viewing the program and thing. We have business to talk about. We ain't going down them kind of road there. Folks, today, and let me cue up thing while I'm talking here. Today, in the Turks and Caicos, the former commissioner of police here in Grenada, the former commissioner that from what we were hearing, when the former commissioner, Mr. Edwin Martin, is a consummate professional. As commissioner of police, he would call the prime minister every morning. And I'm talking about every morning. Because he's in charge of national security. The prime minister is the minister of national security, but the police commissioner is in charge of the force. So every morning he would call, even if it's to give an update on an urgent situation, or just to say, well, okay, everything is okay, or we're following up on this, we're following up on that. Give a report. Yes, is the prime minister of the country. So every morning he would do that. The former prime minister would tell you that. But not just the former prime minister, but also people who temporarily held the position of prime minister. So even though somebody was acting, they were in the chair, acting as prime minister, while Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell was out, Mr. Edwin Martin would make sure that on a daily basis during that period of time, whether it was for 1 day or whether it was for 10 days, he would ensure that he calls that individual who is acting in the position of prime minister, and inform them of whatever is going on in the country. Give a report, at least check in, make sure everything is okay on their end, and give whatever information he deems necessary to pass on to the person at that point in time. From what we've heard, not from Mr. Martin himself, but we've heard from very close sources, that when he was attempting to do the same with the present prime minister, man, don't answer his phone, that what we hear. We had the present Prime Minister, the Commissioner of Police trying to call you. The man in charge of security for the country. He trying to update you, to let you know, hey, this is what's going on, that is what's going on in your country. And you not answering phone. Yeah? They find they didn't need to answer phone. They treated Mr. Edwin Martin with great discourtesy and disdain, simply because he was the Commissioner of Police under the new National Party. But he has been recognized as one of the best commissioners of police. Not just here in Grenada, but regionally, because he was hired by the regional body to head their task force in relation to gangs and organized crime. Mr. Martin was hired by the regional body. And you see the thing with him, he is such a decent individual that he did not decide to part ways here in Grenada in an acrimonious way. He did not decide that he's going to part ways here in Grenada and he's going to go and he's going to say a certain thing about the Grenada government, and he's going to say that the Prime Minister didn't use to answer his phone when he calling him. Because maybe the Prime Minister found that national security wasn't an important issue. But he never said all of that. He never went into all of that. Mr. Martin came. He went on a press conference. He said he was thankful to the Grenadian people for their help. He was thankful for the opportunity to serve in that position. And Mr. Martin went his way quietly. He didn't go and make any sort of noise. He's a decent man. He didn't go and make any sort of noise. He didn't go and say, well, they did do me this, and they did do me that, and they too wicked. And think, Mr. Martin go. The region saw that Mr. Martin was somebody you had to grab on to. So they grab on to him. They didn't stick. They make sure and they take the opportunity and they hang on to Mr. Edwin Martin, and they had him in charge of the organized crime unit for the Caribbean. In other words, he was working with the same Grenada, Trinidad, Guyana, Suriname, yeah, Jamaica, Barbados, the Bahamas, Bermuda, all the Carriacou territories, the regional territories. He was working along with the police forces in each of those islands on the task force that dealt with organized crime in the region, because there is organized crime in the region. You have some groupings that cross borders. They're not just existing in one territory. They exist and they have connections in other territories. And he was tasked with the responsibility of tracking down, getting on top of, and eventually apprehending those individuals. And they would not give him that job, and they would not have tasked him with that responsibility unless they understood that what they were getting was a gem. Meanwhile, Grenada go fumbling. They didn't want him. Yeah? Who he had up in the upper echelon of the police force with them, they demote to, they want to demote to, they move from ASP down to inspector, all sorts of things they do. They demote people left, right, and center within the ranks of the Royal Grenada Police Force, simply not based on performance, not based on performance, not based on any form of assessment. Because when you hear of the assessment of the individuals who were demoted, you realize that their assessment is better than the top people in the Royal Grenada Police Force right now. That they had a better assessment. That when you speak of people like Mr. Tafawa Pear, and you realize that they have taken this individual and simply not based on his ability, because they know that he is very capable and very able, but not based on anything except the fact that his wife cut one of the candidates' tail bad in St. Andrew. When I tell you, that man get cut tail. They say weeks after, the man walking around funny, like he had welt all over his back like some serious leather belt pass. You know them old-time teacher used to have the leather belt in a pail of water inside the cupboard? Or sometime back in Trinidad, I know they used to have the tambourine whip and the guava whip. Yeah, they used to beat us with them thing. Used to have it down in a pail of water. They used to have the pail that they used to say was the water in case there's a fire. They could grab the pail and throw. Right, so that pail, they used to have the belt, the leather belt down inside it, or the tambran whip, puy whip or guava whip down inside it for when they go in and beat. Yeah? They say that man get licks like he get licks with one of that all over his skin welt up. So because of that, because Mr. Tafawa Pear's wife beat him, they tried to pressure Mr. Tafawa Pear. Not based on anything except the fact of who he is married to. That is the only reason that they demoted him from the position that he was at. And they try very well. They go and they put him into another area. And in my view, they dump him there. They put him there. But he blossom wherever he's planted. He's a good gentleman. Yeah? But back to Mr. Edwin Martin. Nobody could say they hear the man make a negative statement, anything. They don't want him. He has the ability. He's still capable. So, the Turks and Caicos was looking for a commissioner of police. Paying much more than he was getting here in Grenada. I could tell you that. Mr. Martin, salary looking nice, Jed. You talk with your boy. You need a deputy. They might take a Rasta as a deputy. I will in it. But they, and let me just clear the phone lines here. They were looking for a commissioner of police. Mr. Martin applied. He went through a process. Not him alone, there were other people. They had a committee that they set up. That committee was so impressed with Mr. Martin that he was selected as the new commissioner of police for the Turks and Caicos. The man that Grenada Prime Minister would not answer the phone when he was calling. Today I hearing about gunplay in Tonga again. Who pull gun and police run up and the person run and all kind of thing. You're hearing about gunplay in Tonga today again. When Mr. Martin was around, at least he had the ability to get his team together, competent and capable people, to address issues like that. Yeah? But instead, we gave him to the Turks and Caicos. Maybe we feel sorry for them. We gave him to the Turks and Caicos when he could have been here in Grenada, at home. He could have been here. And he could have been serving the people of Grenada, because I am sure in my heart of hearts, without even talking to him, that he would have much preferred to be home here in Grenada, taking care of his own people, making sure that his extended family and friends are safe. What he started off doing in policing many years ago, he would have preferred that all his knowledge and experience, his capability, was given in the protection of the Grenadian people. But what they do, they run him. I looking at some fellas I know, capable guys who do training in different countries, all sorts of training. You're looking at them now. They leave the Royal Grenada Police Force. Who working here, who driving truck, who doing all different things around the place. And these are guys who have specialist training that they should have been in the Royal Grenada Police Force to pass on to others. But because of the political pressure being put on them, simply because, hey, they was part of the special branch, or they was part of the former Prime Minister's security detail, simply because they were part of that, they are branded and then they are punished. Punished for doing the job that they were hired to do. So you're punishing them. But look. Let me see if I could pull it up here. Let me see if I could pull up the first one. Yeah, we wanna hear what they had to say. The people up in Turks and Caicos, I want to hear what they had to say. Because they get Mr. Martin, so let me hear what they had to say there. Let me see if I could find what they were saying here about Mr. Martin. Yeah. And for some reason, I'm not getting it there. Wait there. There is he? Yeah, man, I ain't getting it there. What happened to my audio all of a sudden? Yeah, for some reason. Let me just see if I can get it here. Nice. Yeah, let me just put on a little bit of this.
I will
delighted to welcome you.
Yeah, so I think I've got it now. Yeah, you know me, I had a juke a little bit sometime before. Yes, so now it is working. Let me just pull this up for you. Excuse the quality of the video. It is not our fault. It is how we got it from the live this morning. Yeah, that is how we were able to capture it from the live this morning. So do excuse the quality of the video that we are about to play. Nice.
Relationship between the police and the communities they serve is of critical importance, now more than ever. Trust and confidence of the community is key. The selection of Mr. Martin as our new commissioner was guided by the need for an experienced policing lead, consummate in effectively tackling complex organised crime, and who could strengthen the bond between law enforcement and the community. Mr. Martin brings with him a wealth of operational and regional experience with a distinguished career in law enforcement that spans many years. His leadership roles include his tenure as the head of the Royal Grenada Police Force and his instrumental role in leading the Carriacou Gun Crime Intelligence Unit with regional and international partners, which is a testament to his leadership skills and unwavering commitment to the cause of justice. I'm delighted to welcome you, Commissioner-designate Martin, to your new role and to the Turks and Caicos Islands. Your diligent public service and regional policing expertise is a strong testament to the public service that I know you will deliver dutifully as Commissioner of Police. In closing, I would like to...
Yeah, folks, so that is what they had to, that's the Governor General of the Turks and Caicos. And she was speaking about how excited they are. Yeah, how excited they are to have somebody of the quality of Mr. Edwin Martin. Only realize I had to stretch. Yeah, of Mr. Edwin Martin. Grenada, there's a person that Grenada get rid of, she talking about, eh? This is a person that the Grenadian Prime Minister would not answer his phone to when he was Commissioner of Police here. Yeah? He would not answer his phone when this individual was calling. I hear right now it other people here answering phone for anyhow. Let's hear what the Premier, well, they're not Prime Minister, but their Premier has to say.
For me to welcome Commissioner Martin to these beautiful Turks and Caicos Islands. We've looking forward to your arrival. And for everything that we know about you, we're expecting great things. And we know as the new commissioner of our police force, you won't be able to do everything on your own. I'm comforted by the statements made by the acting commissioner of Chief Commissioner of Police, Mr. Adams. And the pledge that he's made himself and his officers to support you in your new role, and indeed to continue to support and work hard in the interest of the people of these beautiful Turks and Caicos Islands. I'll also...
So yeah, that's the Premier. Or, well, you know, you have Prime Minister and you have Premier. So in their case, they have the Premier. Their Premier speaking about Mr. Edwin Martin, how happy they are to have him. Yeah? The man went and he swore in this morning. Yeah, the man, he was sworn in this morning. Let me see if I can. And again, don't blame me for this, the quality of the video. Eh? Don't blame me for the quality of the video. That's what we got. Yeah, they do have TR communications and them kind of thing up there. Understand? Right.
I, Edwin Andrew Martin, do swear. Wow. Do swear that I will truly serve our sovereign king and the office of Commissioner of Police without fear or affection, malice or ill will, and that I will cause His Majesty's peace to be kept and preserved, and that I will preserve the utmost of my power all offenses against him, and that and that will, yeah.
Come
Right.
on, hold
And
on
that
that paper.
I shall continue to hold the office of Commissioner of Police in the Royal Turks and Caicos Islands Police Force. I will, to the best of my skills and knowledge, discharge all the duties, therefore faithfully according to law.
So yeah, he ain't going and say it above his pay grade and them kind of thing. They give him a job to do, and he going to do the job. He's not going to say things are above his pay grade. No. Commissioner Martin don't do them kind of thing. Right? He ain't going to say it's above his pay grade. No.
So you have dispatched officers to St. Vincent to look into the issues involving the 3 escapees. So can you clear the air on the manner in which the Americans allegedly, you mentioned that they're still alive, but do you have any information regarding their whereabouts or anything regarding that?
No.
Okay. So who has jurisdiction in the case? Is it involving Americans? Would it be Grenada or would it be St. Vincent? So as a part of your own investigation, have you ascertained exactly where the alleged incident took place with the Americans?
You are speaking about issues kind of like way above my pay grade and my competency.
I think we go hear Mr. Martin make a statement like that. No. Where you saying there? Where you saying there?
You are speaking about issues kind of like way above my pay grade and my competency.
No, I think we will hear Mr. Martin making them kind of statement and them day. No. Yeah, the people up there, they hire him to do a job, and I know he will do that job to the best of his ability. I know that. I ain't think so. I ain't feel it might be so. I know for a fact he will do it to the best of his ability. Yeah? Let me hear Mr. Martin talk up there, man.
I must also thank the government and people of TCI, but more specifically, to thank the governor and the honorable premier for having confidence in my ability to serve the beautiful Turks and Caicos Islands at this point in time. I look forward to working collaboratively with police officers, stakeholders, the National Security Council to improve safety and security for all. Colleagues, at this moment, I can feel the enormity of responsibility bestowed upon me and the weight of accountability and expectations of the Royal Turks and Caicos Islands Police Force, as well as members of the wider community. I also feel an unprecedented opportunity and a distinguished privilege to serve the people of this beautiful nation by leading the police force into an era of modern policing and greater community engagement. I accept this responsibility, cognizant of the dynamic, complex, diverse, and multidimensional nature of local, regional, and global criminal landscapes. As your Commissioner of Police, I assure you of my unwavering commitment to serve this nation with pride and integrity. I commit to being a commissioner for the people and doing everything within my power to safeguard our communities from threats of criminal elements.
Yeah, we could have him here doing them kind of thing, but we decided to let other people get him. So, anyhow, 440-7377, 340-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. And there's another issue I'll be raising in a short while. There's another issue I definitely will be raising in a short while, because, folks, there is a consistent attempt to avoid having the leader of His Majesty's opposition in Parliament. Let me repeat that. There's a constant and consistent effort by this administration to keep the leader of His Majesty's opposition out of Parliament. There was one instance where, and they always do it when they know they're bringing something, that controversial, because the bill that they are bringing to Parliament on Thursday, we're going to have some further discussions on that tonight. And during this week, we're going to be having some serious discussions about that bill. Because that bill, my friends, is to shut down programs like this. That bill is to shut down programs like what Jenny Simon is doing. That bill is to shut down various other programs that are online and so on. Yeah? So we're going to come to that. But there is a constant, there is a consistent effort to keep the leader of His Majesty's opposition out of Parliament. There was the instance when they knew, because remember Dr. Mitchell had an active court case against the present Attorney General for statements that she had made. They knew that he had court on that particular day, because they obviously would know, because their Attorney General was the one that he had the case with. So they knew that he would not be available on that particular day to attend to any Parliament sitting. The court would take precedent in that instance. You don't want to not go to court and then they dismiss the case or so on. So they knew that the court would take precedent on that particular day. What did they do? They placed a Parliament sitting for on that day, knowing full well that Dr. Mitchell would not be able to come and speak on the bills that were being presented on that day. Yeah? The next time, they put the Finance Committee sitting. In other words, the committee that meets to discuss various aspects of the budget. There's a parliamentary committee that meets. That committee would meet just before the budget is read, where parliamentarians can ask different questions in relation to the information that's provided to them. They can ask questions in relation to what's presented to them. They can question the Minister of Finance, or maybe even individual ministers. If you're not a minister, you may be on the opposition side. You can ask questions. You could say, well, why you put this amount of money here? Or where's the source of this amount of money that you're putting? You put $10 million. Where's that $10 million coming from? Is it coming from the consolidated fund? Is it coming through grant funding? Is it coming under a particular program? You can ask all those questions there. So that was the opportunity for Dr. Mitchell to get some clarity in relation to the budget that we are under now, the 2024 budget. You know what they did? They put that sitting for the day that they knew he had a court case. They knew for a fact he could not avoid going to court on that day. They could have chosen the day before. They could have chosen the day after. They could have chosen, there was a multiplicity of days that they could have selected. Instead of choosing a day that they know he could attend because they value his input and they believe that he has something of value to give to the discussion and so on, they decided to disrespect him because they afraid him. They're afraid. That is why they're doing what they're doing. So when Dr. Mitchell had to go to court and deal with his business, they decided that is the day that they're going to hold the sitting. Yeah? Of the Finance Committee. Knowing full well that he can't come because they afraid him. They afraid him. They know they're incompetent. They know there are questions he will ask that they cannot answer. So they're afraid to face him. So they put the Finance Committee, same as they did. The next time they know he had a court case, they put it that day. Now they know the bill that they're bringing is a very contentious bill. That there are various aspects of that bill that can be used by this administration to attack people like me, to attack people like Jenny Simon or a Prince, or different people that do the social media commentaries and so on. Because we technically are broadcasting. We're broadcasting. And they are saying that we would have to license. Now they're going to come and say it's not that, but in the definition that they have there, and I've checked with some lawyers in relation to it, in the definition with the bill that they're bringing to Parliament on Thursday, we are considered as broadcasting. And it is so wide and broad in its scope. It is not specific to say that only people who are doing radio broadcasting or television broadcasting, they're speaking by broadcasting via electronic means. This is an electronic means. So they know they're coming to Parliament with that on Thursday. They know that that is contentious. You know what they do? Because they afraid Dr. Mitchell, they put the sitting for Thursday knowing full well that he will be unable to attend on Thursday. Not because he has a court case, but they know that one of the regional prime ministers has asked Dr. Mitchell to attend a very important conference. And they know because, of course, that invitation had to come through the government system to get to Dr. Mitchell. So they knew beforehand that he had to travel on Wednesday for the session on Thursday and Friday. They knew that. They can't say they didn't know. They knew that. They could have the Parliament sitting tomorrow. Nothing is stopping them from having the Parliament sitting tomorrow. They have the numbers. They can't be defeated inside there due to numbers. They have the numbers. So no, they can't bring a bill and the bill is defeated. But they're afraid, Dr. Mitchell. They're afraid what he has to say. They know that he will dissect and he will ask the pertinent questions. So they're afraid. Yes, I'm saying it as it is. They're coward. Because they're always looking for the point in time that either he has to travel and they know the importance of what he's going to. They know very well the importance of what he's going to. And he was invited, and I can tell you he was invited by the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, to discuss the issue of West Indies cricket and the way forward. And you're going to have all the West Indies players, representatives, and different businesses who want to become involved to move West Indies cricket out of the doldrums that it is in right now, to get it up to the level that it used to be and even surpass that. And they believe that the input, not believe, but they know that the input of Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Claudius Mitchell is important in a discussion like that. So they've asked for him to come down. Yeah? Not via Zoom or so, because he has to meet with the business people who are interested in helping with West Indies cricket and the players and everybody. They have various sessions. So it's not one of those things just for a few hours that you Zoom. It's going to be taking place over a 2-day period. This government knew that. They knew it. And they knew it beforehand. And because they want to bring this bill, they have decided to do that at this point in time when they know you have to. What's stopping them from bringing it? They could have brought the Parliament sitting tomorrow. They could have brought that Parliament sitting on Wednesday. They could have done it Wednesday morning if he travels Wednesday evening or so on. They could have done that because it's one bill. That's just a couple hours to discuss. Even if every member speaks on it by the time 1, 2 o'clock you're out of there. Or even if you say, well, okay, you want him to speak early and he speaks early on it and he goes. But you could have had the session on Wednesday. You could have it tomorrow. They could have had it today because their cabinet sessions ain't making any sense anyway. If a minister could come out from cabinet and telling you he don't know the cost of establishing a mission, yeah? If they're telling you that they and somebody just make a point there, I'll get to that one. A very important point, my friend. If they don't know the cost of establishing a mission in Toronto, then either this government, and I think they probably need to go and find people like Miss Gloria Payne and Miss Vida Bruno and all these people to explain to them how things are supposed to come to cabinet and how they're supposed to work through that. Yeah? They probably need to go and find these people and ask. Because we know they put an incompetent person as the cabinet secretary. They said, fire her. She need to go long. Waste her time. I don't know how they could take such a person and put them as the cabinet secretary anyway. They need to go. But at the end of the day, you cannot tell me that a submission has been made. This is the way that it's done, folks. Because the vast majority of Grenadians have never spent time in cabinet or had direct relations with what goes on in cabinet. It's probably less than 1% of the population that ever had anything to do with Parliament. I don't think you have 500 people in Grenada right now who have ever been part of Parliament. Is a small number. So when you're going to do something like establish a commission in Toronto, what you have to do is a submission has to be done by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. A submission is a document that says, what do we want to do? Want to establish a high commission in Toronto, in Canada. And then it says, these are the reasons that we want to establish that. It says, these are the positives. And these are the possible negatives of establishing that commission. It says, how much staff you're going to need, who the staff are. You're going to need a driver, you're going to need a maid, you're going to need this, that, the other. So you're going to have a list of who you're going to hire to work at the commission in Canada. Yeah? The salaries that would be attached to that. You will have a range because you know that you're looking for a property, so you have a range that you're working with. You might know the exact figure until you've signed a document and established that this is where we're going. But you would have a range knowing property prices and rental prices in the area that you're looking to go. You'd be able to establish that this is the amount that we would be looking to pay in this range for rent. And then there are other things like utilities and so on that you would know what the rate is for a structure at that size. So a document that gives a costing of the establishment and how much per year to run that. That is what goes to cabinet to decide. I don't know what kind of cabinet they're running. So I don't know if their cabinet is a minister that's just go inside and make a verbal declaration. Oh, we put in somebody in Canada. Yeah, we go send callers. I don't know if that is how they're doing things, because if that is how they're doing things, it's wrong. You're supposed to have a paper trail that you know you're going. You already spent 600 and something. You're going just now. So you know you're going, but you must leave a paper trail that the people who come after able to look at and say, okay, this was the decision made. This was the reason for that decision. This was the costing attached to that decision. Because there are financial implications to making that decision. As such, it is important. As such, it is important to have that submission done. Yeah? So I don't know how they operate in, because we heard men say already that they doesn't discuss things with cabinet, does go straight and discuss it with the prime minister, which is madness. I know if they doesn't go and speak to Mr. Tillman Thomas, at least he could have tell him that is nonsense. You can't be doing that. No, you have to discuss it in cabinet. That is where it had to discuss. There are things that you will discuss with the prime minister in confidence and so on. But you telling me that you don't have enough trust in your fellow cabinet colleagues to be able to make statements. We know number 10 inside this, so you might be afraid to say certain things. But you're supposed to have enough confidence in your cabinet ministers to talk inside there. Yeah? Other than that, something is definitely wrong. Yeah? Something is definitely wrong. And I don't know what is taking place with my phone lines. It seems as though something is wrong with my phone lines. Can someone give me a call? Let me check the phone lines, please, because I'm seeing some lights on here that ain't supposed to be on. So I want to make sure that the phone line is working or not. Somebody give me a call on the overseas line and somebody give me a call on the local line. Let me just test to make sure that it is working properly. But yeah, so I'm saying that when they tell you they can't give you a cost in relation to that, that is madness. They know very well. They know very well what the cost is. Just say you don't want to say at this time. Listen, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, and I think we have a call on the overseas line. Let me check it and make sure it's working properly. Hello, good night. Hello. Hello, good night. Oh, hello, good night. Hello. Yeah, I had a feeling something is wrong there. I am not sure what's wrong with the system tonight. It's been down over the weekend. We rested it over the weekend, so I'm not sure if that is the problem. All right, so let me just think that and this, and I'll leave that one here. And let me check on the WhatsApp line and see if everything is working okay there. Hello, good night. Oh, I didn't answer. Hello, good night. Hello. Oh, let me see if this helps. Hello. I am not sure what's going on with the lines tonight. Something is not working, whether it's the WhatsApp or whether it is the other lines. I am not seeing it. Hello? Yeah, that's not working either. So let me try. I'm seeing the local line. Let me see if the local line works. Oh, not the local line. That's the overseas line. Let's see. Hello, good night. Hello, good night. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with our lines tonight. It seems as though the phone lines are down. Yeah, I'm seeing the calls coming in, but they're not, I can't answer them. For some reason, I'm trying to answer them, and the call is not coming through. Yeah, I don't know why that is happening. Yeah. Let's try the WhatsApp line again. Hello, good night. Hello, good night. Hello, good night. Okay, so we're not getting the WhatsApp. We're not getting any other lines. Yeah, we're not getting on any other lines tonight, and I don't know why that is so. Hello, good night. Okay, yeah, I don't know what's taking place with the phone line. So we'll have to forget the phone lines for tonight, it seems. Yeah. So I'm saying, yeah, that the impression that they are giving us, let me see if I get my tech guy here. Yeah, so, oh, okay. So I am just learning from one of the listeners here that Flo is having issues with phone calls, and they're also having internet issues. So that may be affecting our ability to get the calls tonight. So it is not on our end. It seems as though Flo, and even the overseas line is through Flo. So it seems as though Flo is having their issues, and that is affecting our ability to get the calls here tonight, right? Yeah, so we're not able to get the calls. I don't know why, but yeah, it seems that... Hello? Hello. Hi, good night. Hello. Hi, good night, caller. Hello. Yeah, hello? Hello. Okay, we are hearing the hello there, but it's not going further than that. So I'll have to get my people to come in tomorrow and have a look at that. Nice, yeah. I'm not too sure what is going on there, but we can't get the call. All right, so yeah, let me see what they say here. Somebody just sent a note to me. Flo advises of a fixed network outage due to a down... Oh, okay, fiber cable. Technicians are working toward a speedy restoration. We apologize for the inconvenience. So, Flo, that is all your fault, eh? Right, nice. Yeah, no. I wonder if something wrong with the system. Hey, well, yeah, me worried inside here that something wrong with my system and them kind of things. So, yeah. So, folks, I'm saying it. We have to... Let me just make sure I bring this down a bit. Yeah. Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell has asked quite a few questions. I'm sure he has asked over 30 questions or more from the start of Parliament under this administration to now that have not received answers. You're still waiting on answers, for instance, in relation to the issue of all those people who have been hired and the salaries attached. The government just basically refusing to give that. So they're not letting you, the Grenadian people, know who they have hired and how much they are being paid. Like the advisors that they have in the Ministry of Youth, whether they're being paid directly through one side or they're being paid through Lotto or wherever. They're not letting you know. And all the phone lines ringing now, but yeah, Flo is having their issue, folks. It's not our fault inside here. We have been trying to take the calls and we are not getting through. Yeah? We are not getting through. So let me just message the tech person as well. Yeah, I'm just making sure I message the techie. Yeah. So the questions that are being asked are not being answered. So since 2022, we're in 2024, well, 2024 now, isn't it? Yeah. 2022, we've been asking questions. So Dr. Mitchell has posed questions in the Parliament in relation to those who have been hired, their designation, what they are supposed to be doing and so on, and the salaries attached. The government just blatantly refusing to answer that. They probably find that you, the Grenadian people, don't deserve to know who has been hired and what position they hold, who they're reporting to, what are their duties, and how much they're working for. So they just refuse that because you're hearing stories of friend and family members, sisters of sitting MPs, brothers of sitting MPs. You're hearing all kind of stories. Who working for 4,000 here, 6,000 there, 8,000. You're hearing all sorts of stories about close family members of MPs and known supporters that up there. That would you want to say up. That what they're talking about, up there. Along with them that are working for significant amounts of money within this administration. And you're hearing that this is taking place. And while you're hearing that this is taking place, you're asking questions to either confirm or at least that people who are hearing that would say, well, okay, we've heard from the government now in relation to that, so it's not true. They're just refusing to answer. They're not answering. And you have to ask yourself, why? What are they so afraid of that they're just not answering these things? You also have the situation that you ask questions about travel. Dr. Mitchell asked the question about travel. They gave him some kind of nonsensical response that, oh, it takes a lot of paperwork and they have to go through to find out how much money, because you're hearing at one point in time, the amount you heard at that point in time was more than the New National Party had spent in 2 years. And that was a few months into the administration. But they refused to give you a figure of how much has been spent in relation to transportation. They want to give that. They don't want you, the Grenadian people, to know. Whether it's 10 million, 15 million, how much million, they don't want you to know. So they refuse to give that information. Blatantly, just refuse. And there are several other questions that have been posed that are just not being answered. They're just not being answered by this administration. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why are they hiding this information from the Grenadian people? And then they send out the Prime Minister. Let me play something here for you all. Let me play something for you all. Let me see if I could pull up this. So the Prime Minister speaking today. And I realized something. And let me see if you all pick it up too. And tell me who they're trying to make the Prime Minister sound as here. And this is in Cuba recently. Tell me who they're trying to make the Prime Minister sound like.
It's important because you have to build trust. You have to build credibility. We now need to stay the course. We now need to continue delivering for our people and crucially engaging with them, because oftentimes I think one of the criticisms of political leadership is the fact that the leaders oftentimes don't engage sufficiently with our citizens in a direct and straightforward manner so that we can get their feedback, we can get their input on what we need to do.
Remember, these are the individuals that don't hold press conferences talking about engaging with people and so on. And in case you didn't hear that part, let me make sure they hear that part again. When they go out there, they could say them thing. They can't tell us here. They don't hold press conferences. These individuals do not hold press conferences. They don't. Yeah? They do not hold press conferences. They do not engage with the Grenadian people, yet still they're talking about it. Let me hear them there.
We now need to continue delivering for our people and crucially engaging with them, because oftentimes I think one of the criticisms of political leadership is the fact that the leaders oftentimes don't engage sufficiently with our citizens in a direct and straightforward manner so that we can get their feedback, we can get their input on what we need to do to improve their lives and the overall well-being of the country. So that's one of the things we are very keen to continue doing.
So they're speaking about engaging with the people. They don't have a post-cabinet weekly press briefing that the New National Party, every Tuesday, They would have a post-cabinet press briefing. Even the former NDC used to at least have a weekly press briefing or so on. Yeah, they used to engage with the media at different levels. Not this administration. Talking about engaging with who? Definitely not the Grenadian people. Maybe engaging with somebody else or something else, but not with the Grenadian people.
To continue delivering for our people and crucially engaging with them, because oftentimes I think one of the criticisms of political leadership is the fact that the leaders oftentimes don't engage sufficiently.
And let's say you don't engage sufficiently. It took this individual who's saying all of that 1 month before he spoke out on a spate of crimes here in Grenada. 1 whole month before he come out and say anything. It happened in 1 month, he come and speak in the next one. The same individual who talking about engaging with people and so on. But you realize what they're trying to do with his voice, eh? You realize they're trying to make him sound as somebody else. You realize there's always an effort to make the present Prime Minister sound as somebody else. Let me give you an example of who. Let me see if I have it here, boy. Yeah, I have that somewhere here. Yeah, let me see if I could get an example of what they're trying to do, because they're trying to remake the present Prime Minister in the image of other people. So let's see who they're trying to remake him in the image of. Look how they've tried to get the Prime Minister's voice even to a baritone. Yeah? They've even tried to get his voice to a baritone so that he would sound like.
Dr. Castro has accused the West of exploiting the poor. He is against capitalism. Do you share that view?
Against capitalism would not be opposition. We are certainly
Anti-imperialist?
against imperialism. Oh yes, we are against that, certainly.
How
But we define imperialism in a very specific way.
And that is?
They just couldn't find the same, is a guayabera, that's what they just call it, the guayabera. Yeah, the kind of shirt jack. They couldn't find one like that one, so they pay them a different color, yeah.
Well, that is to say the countries, the governments that back their multinational, transnational corporations.
They're trying their hardest to make him into our next Maurice, you know. They're trying their hardest to make him into our next Maurice.
The use or the threat of force. That would be our major concern. It's not so much, in other words, a question of whether or not a particular...
That's what they're doing. They're trying to make him into the new Maurice Bishop. That's what they're trying to do. Unsuccessfully so. But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make him into the new Maurice Bishop. Yeah? Folks, I nearly called out the number again, but again, it is giving a little problem. I want to try one fix that might possibly work. And let me see if I can get this call through. Let me try on the WhatsApp. Hello, good evening. Let me try to bring this over. Hello? Hello? No, and hello? Okay, they're hearing me, but they're hearing me very, very low. Hello? Yeah, I'm hearing you, but I'm hearing you very, very low. I will have to terminate that call. Yeah. I'm sorry, caller. I will have to terminate that call because something is not right. Yeah, the WhatsApp, even though they have that issue, I should be getting the WhatsApp calls. And for some reason, I'm not getting the WhatsApp calls either. So that's why, that's why that is where it's supposed to be. And that is where it's supposed to be. So I'm not sure what's taking place there. Yes, folks. So this is what is happening. They're trying to remake the present Prime Minister in the image of Maurice Bishop. So they're trying to dress him in a way. You realize there's a photo, and I don't have the photo of the Prime Minister right now, but they keep trying to recreate that particular picture. There's a very well-known picture of Maurice Bishop where an elderly lady is fondling his beard. She's playing with his beard, and Maurice is smiling, and he has his security is to the back of him somewhere, and the elder lady is playing with his face. And you recognize that they are constantly trying to recreate that photo. They've tried all sorts of things to recreate that photo. Everything possible. They've tried to recreate that. Okay, yeah, so I think you all, yeah, for a moment there the board just, yeah, that was me. I touched what I shouldn't touch. So I'm very sorry about that, folks.
See a woman pushing she way through the crowd. Suddenly her voice started getting loud. The bassman saw the move. He hit a note and she got in groove. You should see that woman there in the ring. What she start to do, she think house out.
So yes, folks, I'm just trying to check with the tech because I know many of you are trying to call. The direct calls may not be coming through, but the WhatsApp ones should be. So I'm just trying to sort that out. Give me just one moment. Let me just get that working. Yeah, this thing is making me feel like I have to come in an hour extra earlier and try to make sure everything is working before I do the show now.
This little island have a rich history. Sugar Adams once ruled this show. You but and Django follow. Right now it's Flurry, Jack and Loxin. But these men rule the ring. Tell me ho, tell me ho. I said I wanna never see tell me ho. I tell me ho. Do you think I Jama?
Yes, so I'm not too sure. Yeah, the local line is dead. There's nothing on the local line, so that's flow. Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing on the local line, so that's definitely flow. Let me see if I can get someone back on the WhatsApp now. Let me try the WhatsApp again. Oh boy, I hate to have to do this during a program. Yeah, I just hate having to do this during a program. So let me see if I can get somebody back. So I've seen the yes, that's the photo, my friend. That is the photo. Yeah, let me see if I can get the hello. Hello. Yes, my friend. Hello.
Good night.
Hi, good night. Hello.
Hearing me?
I am barely hearing you.
Okay, that's Aruba in the house.
Aruba.
Yes.
Yes, go right ahead. Hello.
Because he was just like trying the phone line out, so I was calling, you know.
Yeah, but it's still, yeah, we're still getting that problem, and I'm sure that the listeners are not hearing you because I'm barely hearing you. So I think we'll just have to forget the calls for tonight. Yeah, we'll just have to go with the program. We'll have to forget the calls for tonight. All right?
All right.
Okay, my dear.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, all right. Yes, so folks, the phone line, the local line, it is dead. There's nothing coming through there. Forget that, not even a ringtone. So definitely the flow issue is affecting us in studio here. It is also affecting us on the overseas line. Well, now look, the local line is ringing now, but we're not getting the call on the local line. It's not coming through. And I don't know why, but we're not getting the call on the local line either. We've tried, and I've just answered a call on the local line, and there's nothing there. Yeah? Hello? Yeah, there's nothing there. So we just have to terminate calls for tonight and go ahead with the program. So, I spoke a bit earlier about a bill that is being brought to Parliament, and that bill is going to have an effect on programs like these. And as one person has mentioned a little while ago, and I think that they're spot on with that, Dr. Mitchell has also announced that he's going to be doing a blog. He's also announced that he is going to be doing a blog. So they are coming with this particular bill. And there are various, and I'm trying to pull it up here for you all to be able to see the document itself. Let me see if I can zoom in on this a bit. Right, and yeah, let me see if this is going to work. Right. So it is called the Electronic Communications Bill 2024. Let me pull it up over here so that you all would see. And folks, don't bother with the phone calls because it's not coming through. And it is not on our end here. The board is how it's supposed to be, but it's due to an issue with the service provider. And I seem to believe now if you're calling from a Digicel number, the line is ringing, but when we answer, we still can't hear anything. Yeah, so there is an issue there. Now, they are bringing to Parliament on Thursday the Electronic Communication Bill. And as they are explaining here, the Electronic Communication Bill 2024 seeks to reform the law relating to telecommunications and Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority, ECTEL, contracting states by repealing and replacing the Telecommunications Act Chapter 315 legislation, which is broader in scope to encompass electronic communications. Now, if they're saying it's broader in scope, the law as it is right now cannot be applied to programs like this. It cannot be applied to programs like Simon Says. It cannot be applied to programs, for instance, the Bob Report. It cannot be applied to programs that are done strictly online. But they are seeking to broaden the scope of the existing legislation to now raft in and pull in all of the people who are involved in doing programs like these. And in my belief, they have purposely, that's just my belief, they have purposely done it in a vague way. They're doing this bill in a very vague way in which they are able to encompass. So, for instance, you may find a situation in the near future that someone like myself, has to go and get a license to operate. All you know, they ain't gave me no license. All you know that. I telling them from now, me even coming. Come and jail me. I ain't coming. Yeah? I'm not. I'm telling them today, the 22nd day of April 2024, I'm telling them straight, all you gotta come and jail me, because I ain't coming for no license. Because I know I wouldn't get any license. You all don't find it strange that they want us to come for license at a point in time like this, when one, they make sure that some of their people, don't think it's one, some of their people have received radio license to be able to broadcast via radio frequencies. Yeah? They feel I don't know about what's going on in Montu. Nice studio, by the way. Yeah? So I know what's going on. Yeah? I feel I don't know about the studio in Montu. I know about it. And no long that other people was going to be doing radio stations. So as soon as you're hearing announcement about their people getting onto radio, you realize that there's a move to clamp down on the people who are doing the programs online. But this legislation, and we'll go deeper into it later in the week, not tonight, because I don't think that we have enough time to go into this legislation in the kind of depth that I would like to go into this legislation. Yeah? Technically, this is so broad in scope that, for instance, the people like Brendan Blazer, Blazer sharper than a razor, who does those broadcasts of the funerals, that he would be in breach of this. So Brendan would have to go and get a license to do a broadcast because he is, quote unquote, broadcasting a funeral. So where Brendan does go and do a look at broadcast, and so this legislation is going to mean that he had to go and get a license. So the guys like Checkley and TNR Communications and so, who stream funerals or weddings and different activities and so, they will, under this, because of the broadness, they have not specified that these categories of people are not to get. No way in this document, no way in this document says that people, and it's 160 pages long, 100 and nowhere in that document, and I would like them to show me where in that document excludes people who are doing programs like this one, or like Simon says, or who do the broadcasts of the funerals and these kind of things. Show me where in the document excludes these people. The people like Mikey Hutchinson, who does his Mikey Live and so in the night, and who would do his other shows and so on, would now have to get a license to broadcast because you're broadcasting. You're broadcasting. And they say broadcast via electronic means, radio frequencies, etc. So it includes all of these kind of shows. So they feel me going to them to ask for a license. You know how technical this thing is? Technically, according to what they're saying there, some of you who like to take this and do a live, you're broadcasting. Yeah. Those are you that doing a live on the Facebook and the WhatsApp and the Instagram and so on, and the TikTok. Those are you that doing a live, technically you're broadcasting. And this would actually cover you because it is so broad in scope. And in my belief, it is purposely being done. It is purposely being put forward this broad in scope so that it can cover all the people, including those that giving them licks. They ain't care about theirs, because they have already given their people, through the NTRC, they have already given their people the permission. So all of a sudden, you're hearing about who doing radio station and who doing this and that. And then when you hear about Dr. Mitchell doing a podcast, not opening a radio station, but you hear about him doing a podcast, you see this bill come up. Now the bill has been in drafting stages for quite a few years. Why they rush all of a sudden to bring it forward? And you see what they did the last parliament sitting. They laid the bill for consultation. They laid it in parliament for consultation. But you saw them have any consultation? Let me ask the Media Workers Association of Grenada if you all still exist, that is. Because I know the Media Workers Association of Grenada was supposed to have, you all were supposed to have an election the other day, innit? You all were supposed to select a new president. The present president of the Media Workers Association of Grenada has indicated that he will not be reapplying for the job of president of the Media Workers Association. Probably he has other things that he wants to focus on. Yeah? So he has said he's not reapplying. And you all could not have a quorum to be able to have an election to elect an executive. You all had a quorum of the Prime Minister called media workers down to go and have, was it brunch? I don't know if it was brunch, dinner, lunch, I don't know. I think it was a brunch. There was a quorum there. Ain't it? There was a heavy quorum there. How many members are financial in the Media Workers Association? I know about the Media Association from since it formed, I've never been a member. But it is a sorry state of affairs. Yeah? Do you all not see the need for a Media Workers Association? Even though, as far as I'm concerned, I believe that the Media Workers Association is dysfunctional at this point in time because you all cannot even hold that particular function because you all don't have a quorum, which means that some people don't see the association as important. I believe the association is important because if this was taking place under a new National Party administration, I'm pretty sure that some of them would have found a way to make a quorum. And they would have been issuing statements to the NNP about putting in place things like this. It is too broad, and it is purposely being put broad. They're late for the first reading, which means consult on it. It means that you're supposed to go to the media houses. You're supposed to come to people like myself who are going to be affected by it, but they will never, never come to me. They would never pick up the phone and call for my view in relation to something like this. You know why? Because I'll give them an honest opinion. They want that. They want one of the people that will tell them, yeah, do it. It's not too much people saying anything out there. Yeah, go ahead and do that. That is what they want. But I will give them an honest opinion that what they are doing and nonsense is the same thing. As I told somebody today, it seems as though stupidity and the NDC got together and have a child, and it is the present administration. Seriously. Because something had to be wrong with them to think that this is okay to go in Parliament and pass on Thursday. They feel they get away with the quote-unquote data protection. Let it try something with the data protection. Try it. Have a constitution here in Grenada. Try it. Try something with the data protection. I dare you all. Me ain't going and get no license. Come and arrest me. Yeah? You all are the numbers, so you all don't need to listen to anybody, you know. You all could go ahead and you could go in Parliament and you could pass it. And there are some of us that could easily go in court and shut it down because it is unconstitutional in its broad scope. And then they will come and say, well, no, he is not a lawyer. He don't know what he's talking about. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what I'm talking about. I talk to lawyers, though, so they know what they're talking about. Go with it. Go and pass it and then try to use it. Remember, any law that is passed in the state of Grenada that contravenes the constitutional right of a citizen of Grenada can be struck down. You cannot do a law that removes constitutional privileges from an individual. You have a constitutional right to freedom of expression, and there are several other freedoms that are contained and enshrined in the Constitution of Grenada. That is why I often say to people, get a copy of the Constitution. Know what your rights are. Yes, there are limits to your rights. You have a freedom of expression, but you can't go and say a man is a crook or a man is a thief and you have nothing to prove it. Because if that man decides that he's taking you to court and you cannot present evidence that this man was arrested and charged for said crime, then my friend, you ending up having to pay that individual a lot of money. You ending up having to pay them. You're calling a man a crook, you're calling a man a this. Yes, you have freedom of expression, but and some people have this nonsensical thing, and I keep saying that oh, I don't call his name. Stupidity. The law has a section of it that speaks to inference. Stop that stupidness about I don't call he name or I don't call she name. Once one other person could understand that you are speaking about person A or person B or person C, then hello, you can be taken to court and you go lose. Once one other person knows, hey, that is the person he's talking about, you know. He said the Rasta man with the full head of white hair who does be liming on that corner is a crook. So there's one Rasta man who does be liming on that corner with white hair. You didn't call his name, but everybody knows that that is who you're talking about. It is called inference. Research it. Go and read the law for yourself. You don't have to call a person's name to get sued. All you have to do is give enough information for people to know that is who you're talking about. And you are going to court. So you can create no law. Parliament can create no law that goes against a constitutional right of an individual. You have your constitutional rights. They are enshrined in the Constitution. And any law that is created in the state of Grenada that removes one of your constitutional rights, that law has to be struck down. Just get your lawyers. Some lawyers doing it for free. And I know lawyers that will do it for free. So have they consulted with the media houses? A challenge. Any of the media houses, GBN, did they consult you all? Did they consult MTV? Did they consult WPG 10? Any of them? Did they consult Well, I don't like to call some of them newspapers media house. I think some of them is just rag sheet. But some of what supposed to be newspapers, did they consult with you all in relation to this? Because technically some all you're broadcasting too. Because you all are sending out your news via electronic means. You all are no longer printing a physical newspaper. I think somebody tell me one of the papers does print a few copies. That and nothing is the same thing. You all are not printing a physical newspaper. You all are publishing your information online. You are transmitting information online. And as such, you all may also be found to be contravening the act. But they're going to Parliament with it. And everybody just supposed to sit down and say, well, all well, that's good. Go right ahead. Yeah? How can they just say that they're going with it? You didn't discuss it with people that should know, that people that are going to be affected. You're not doing that. Huh? You're not doing that. But you want to go and pass it on Thursday. And you know what they're going to go? They're going to go there on Thursday and say, we don't know what we're talking about. Let me tell you how they're coming. Oh, they don't know what we're talking about. Oh, they held consultations. Let me see who they held. Ask them who they held the consultations with. I'm waiting to hear who they held consultations on this bill in relation to. The third thing that has always come and say, oh, that bill was drafted during the New National Party time. That doesn't mean that what was drafted during that period of time is what you all have now, because it definitely is not what you all have now. Yes, ECTEL is working with various countries throughout the Caribbean to upgrade their laws in relation to telecommunications. That is true. They are working with various countries in the region. But we have a constitution here that guarantees Grenadians certain rights. So I don't know if people like Blazer Sharp Mazareza know that this is going to affect him, or Mikey know that this is going to affect him, and all the other people who do their little blogs and their vlogs and all these kind of things, that this is going to affect them because they are transmitting via electronic communication means. They are doing that. And as such, this means that they would definitely have to be licensed. Yeah? So there is a problem. Yeah, there is a problem. And folks, no, doesn't make sense trying to call because we're not getting the calls. When you do try to call, we're not getting the calls. So I think it making sense to try, yeah, because we're not getting the calls when you do try to call. So we just have to forget that for tonight. For yeah, this needs to be discussed further. I do not believe that this should go to Parliament on Thursday. There is no need for this to go to Parliament on Thursday. There is no deadline that they don't want to, that they have to make by Thursday, that it must be done on Thursday, because it still have to go to the Senate afterwards. It still has to go to the Senate afterwards. So there's no deadline that they may miss and so on that this has to be done on. They could withhold it. Yeah? And someone is asking if the meeting that Dr. Mitchell has to go to is important. That's not the issue. They know for a fact that he has that meeting at that point in time. And I've shown where this is not the first, this is not the second time that they've done that. When they know he had to go to court with the present Attorney General in relation to statements that she made, she lose the case anyway, but statements that she made, they make sure and they put a Parliament sitting for that day. So it's either he forget the case with the Attorney General and he come to Parliament, or he go to the case and he forget Parliament. One or the other. You either go to Parliament or you go to the case. And obviously he went to the courts. They knew that he had a court case at the point in time when it came to the Finance Committee sitting. They put the sitting for the day. They could have put it a day before. They could have put it the week before. They could have put it the day after. Decide no, they want to put it specifically on that day. And now they know that he has been invited to that particular meeting. They know the importance of that meeting to the region, not just to Grenada, but to the region. Because it provides an opportunity for some of our own sportsmen and sportswomen to go out there and not only get the opportunity to play for the West Indies, but also to earn a living through endorsements, etc., and so on. So it is an opportunity for Grenadian youth, yes, the youth who are playing cricket and so on, to be able to get that. It's creating opportunities throughout the Caribbean. And nothing is one bill that they have. There are just some reports to be laid in the House, and just that one bill that they're bringing to Parliament on Thursday. They could decide that they're doing it next week Tuesday, or next week Wednesday, next week Thursday. But no. They want to put Dr. Mitchell in a position like this. Because they're afraid. They're afraid and they're coward. So they've decided that they're going to do this. And listen, whether Dr. Mitchell is there or he isn't there, they're going to pass it. Let me tell all of that. They're going to pass it. Whether Dr. Mitchell is there or he's not there. It's 10 of them on that side. Yeah? So they will pass it. It will pass. Right? Even if 3 of them ain't there, they're still passing it. So they will pass it. But they do not, and they're not allowing him to have his input in the Parliament. But you go have your input, you know. Knowing Dr. Mitchell, you go have your input. Yeah, you doing podcasts, all you running to do things. Go ahead. Yeah? And look at another instance here, somebody just raised. When you had the funeral of Spaceman, you expected the man to come and speak on that day. You knew that the funeral of a senior minister, full minister within the New National Party, former MP, one of the best friends of Dr. Mitchell, was on that day. And yet still, they had the Parliament sitting for that day. It is a trend. It is a trend. Because they are afraid. They know that he will take apart what they're saying. They are afraid. Yeah? So tell me. So if I'm going to call one of my children on WhatsApp, because according to this is possible. If I had to call one of my children on WhatsApp, I need a license to do that. Because I'm broadcasting via electronic means. I'm broadcasting a signal from my device via electronic means to the servers, to the modem in the house, the wireless modem or wherever that's in here. And if I'm outside, I'm transmitting to one of the towers that belong to one of the companies, the telecom companies. I'm broadcasting from my device to that tower that's broadcasting to my child who is broadcasting back to me. So you're telling me my child need a license, I need a license? Because this is so broad in scope that is the belief of even some legal professionals in relation to it. And as I said, I'm not going through it deeply today. I'm going to take it apart piece by piece by piece later in this week. I had no intentions of taking it apart fully tonight, but to mention it and to let Grenadians know what they're doing. So when you see I say that they're hiding from Dr. Mitchell, they're coward, they're afraid. You have various instances. So when, as leader of His Majesty's opposition, he had to make his presentation, they didn't even have enough decency to say, well, okay, that day is the day when the former parliamentarian is going to be buried and so on. And out of respect, let's forget that day and do it the next day. No, they go ahead. They wanted to do it on that particular day. When his mind isn't fully there. It's, my friend dead and I had to go to that funeral. My friend dead, I had to go to that funeral. Yeah? That is when they push it. So we know what they're capable of, we know what they're doing, and we know why they're doing it. So they're not fooling anybody. Folks, since I cannot take your calls, what you may have to do is you can send me a voice note on the WhatsApp. Yes, send me a voice note on the WhatsApp so I'll be able to play that. If you send me a voice note on the WhatsApp, yeah, we could get it from there. All right? Yeah, somebody sent a message here, Mr. Martin, back on the topic of Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin isn't only a top police chief, he's also a very good statesman. What a shame. Yeah, Mr. Martin could have embarrassed them here, you know. He could have talked out all the things that we know for a fact that has been happening. He could have talked out all the things and say, look, he's trying to reach the Prime Minister to give him an update on how the present state of the force and the present state of security in the country and what they follow him up. And the Prime Minister ain't answering the phone. He ain't bothering to answer. Because he had Tweedledee and Tweedledum around him and things. So them just telling him, hey, do this, do that, do the other and all kind of things. So he refused to answer when the Commissioner of Police was calling him. Go and say a lie. They are custom. Go and say a lie. Embarrass one of these days. Yeah? So folks, let me see what they said here. Nice, yeah. There is one other thing I nearly forgot because I got so into the other things there. There's one other thing I want to raise before we run out of time tonight. And we have roughly about 20 minutes remaining. But I wanted to address one other issue quickly before we run out of time tonight. Let me talk to you all straight up here. Let me see if I could pull some figures there. Folks, during the first quarter, and I'm reading this straight from a post that was made by journalist Linda Straker. It's from information that was released by the Parliamentary Electoral Office today. During the first quarter of 2024, the period when all them people come in from, and they tell them register to write, a total of 1,273 citizens registered to vote in the 15 constituencies, bringing the consolidated list of voters to 91,145 voters. 91,145 voters. At the time of the June 2022 general elections, there were 87,566. So you have more than 3,000 people registered since elections. Yeah? Let me ask a question. Of you all who say that you are supporting the new National Party, how much out of that 3,000 all you think all you register? Really and truly. Out of the 3,000 or so people that have been registered, all you know plain load of people come down on one-way ticket and were told that you have to register to get your ticket to go back. And you saw 1,200, and let me just get the exact figure again. 1,273 people registered. Yeah? Registered as voters here in Grenada. January, February, March. That's how much people were registered. Right? How much of that, dear supporters of the new National Party, do you believe that you registered? Different constituencies. St. David, how much out of that did you register? St. Patrick East, St. Patrick West, how many of those close to 3,000 people between 2022 and now, between June of 2022 and now, the 3,000 plus people that have been registered, how many of those did you register? Yeah? Carriacou. How many of those did you register? St. John. Lost St. John by how much? 6 or 10 votes, whatever. So if a particular political party were able to come and out of that 3,000 they register 400 in St. John, you know what's going on. If it's not the new National Party that do it, and if it ain't split even between the new National Party and the other side, then you know what's going on. You can end up with people who do not belong to a constituency making a decision for the people who live in that constituency, who have lived in that constituency, and who after the next general election have to continue living in that constituency. Are you all checking the list? The list, I believe it will be posted around tomorrow. Do you all have your teams of people that within 7 days will make the necessary, go through the list and they say, hey, this person don't live in here. That guy living out there, he's not living in Grenada. He doesn't come home. The first time this guy come home in 10 years was in January or February for independence. That's the first time that guy come home in 10 years. He's not even from this constituency. He come and he register in St. George Southeast. But the guy never live here. The guy never even rent here. He was staying in a place in Grenada and he originally from up in St. Patrick. But he come and he's registered in St. George Southeast. So when election time come and he get the next plane ticket that says you have to come down but you have to have your finger stained to get a ticket to come back up. When he comes down that point in time and he comes and he casts a ballot in St. George Southeast, he is making a decision for the people of St. George Southeast that they have to live with. But he's not from there. He has no ties there. His mother not from there, his father not from there, his grandparents not from there. He has no ties to there. But he on the voters list there. He never lived a week, much less as is mandated by the law, 1 year in that constituency. He passed through and lying by a shop every now and again. But his name is on the voters list in that constituency. How that happened, and you let it happen. And you know what some of you all going and do? Some of you all waiting until you start to see people put on yellow t-shirt and jump on van, truck, bike and so on and start campaigning around the place, and you get the vibes that election coming to go and start a checklist. Do that and you will lose. Let me warn again. Do that and you will lose. You have to check now. Don't end up, I saw situations in places before. That election day, you realize there are 70 people who should be in your constituency and the name not on the list. These are people that registered and the list came out. The last list came out for election. They didn't check it properly. And election day, election morning, you're running around to try and find out where these people are to vote because their name not on the list. 70 people, man losing seat by 1 vote, by 6 votes, by 18 votes, man losing seat by that. I tell you, 70 people, 7-0. On election day, you're finding out that these people, they can't vote because you can't find the name on the list. Why? Because some of us want to continue to operate as the two brothers. Somebody else tying the sheep. So we do have to tie it. Somebody else tying the sheep dead. Dog eat the sheep. Because everybody believes somebody else went out and tied the sheep. My sheep out there, he go wrong until the rope gets short. He strangle, dog come, eat thing, all kind of sheep gone. But both brothers believe he went and tied, man. Sheldon went and tied. I said, no, Sheldon, man, Neil went and tied. So you believe one brother or the other brother go and tied. Meanwhile, they're dead. Don't let that be your constituency. Don't let that. You see, some people want to focus on all kind of things. This is what you have to focus on. Because on election day, once the voters list for a constituency comes out, the last list before a general election is named, registration is closed, the date is set, registration is closed, and these people name on the list, bet your bottom dollar they can vote, and I'm telling you that they will vote. They will vote. So you have to make sure that you check the list and that you are able to identify everybody on the list, not just those that just went on, you know. Because it could have people that they brought in during Christmas and do that. It could have people that they brought in during Carnival last year and do that. So you have to check the list and identify these people. These people are not living in your constituency. They have no ties to your constituency. It should not be a situation where a man could just pick up a Grenada bill or he take up an Owasa bill that not even any name and walk into an electoral office and register and say, well, they present a bill for there. Oh, that's the landlord own because I don't pay it on my name. No. It cannot be a situation like that. Folks, we cannot allow that to happen. The New National Party lost the last election, if I could remember, by less than 3,000 votes. Now you have 3,000 votes added. Again, NNPites. How much out of that 3,000 between 2022 and now did you register? You find these people operating in a kind of way like they have something up their sleeve or they know something that you don't know? All you find so? Yes, my friend, I know you all lost by 6 votes in St. John. So imagine if you all lost by 6 votes and these individuals were able now to come and register 400 people in St. John. Are you all sure that they have not registered 400 people in St. John? Are you all sure that they registered 500 people in St. John? Do we know the spread of those registrations? If those registrations are in seats that were lost by 100 and something or 200 and something, that they're making sure that they share up the votes in those seats, shore them up? Are the people who are registering legally able to register in that constituency? Stop thinking it's somebody else's job. You might recognize somebody that a team that the NNP have in a constituency may not recognize. A lot of us know people by nickname. We don't know their proper name. You might know the person's proper name because you go to school with them. You might know the person's proper name because you work with them. You may have gone to church with them. So you may know the proper name, whereas a team from the party may not know the proper name. So all of us have a responsibility to check the voters list and make sure the people who there is the people that's supposed to be there. And if we find we've seen some funny names, some names that are, I don't want to put it in a harsh way, but are non-Grenadian in nature, we have to question that too. If you find you're seeing some names that look kind of Russian and you ain't too sure, yeah, we might have 1 or 2 people that have been here for quite a while, and so you understand that is one thing. But if on the new voters list, you're finding a lot of names that look like they come from the Caucasus, or you're finding some names that look Middle Eastern in origin, or you find some names that may be Euro-Asian in origin. I'm not saying we have to be racist or anything like that. I'm saying that we have to question the legality of those individuals registering. Because what you would not like to find out are that people that simply through gaining citizenship through CBI or whatever are now registered to vote in your constituency, because the only time you go see them is election morning. You might see them pop up. And then you lose by 6 votes and you're wondering how that happened. Yeah? So I recognize that we are going to have to do a lot of education on this program in relation to 1, the electoral system, 2, getting registered, the legal requirements, how can someone legally be registered as a voter within the state of Grenada. We're going to have to do some talks, and we're going to have to do some, maybe a Tuesday talk and some different thing, or a Thursday night talk and the Thursday talks or the Tuesday talks or whatever. We're going to have to do some talks in relation to those issues, because I realize a lot of persons are still not clear on what are the legal requirements for people to be registered, if people should be registered, and so on. Yeah? So we have to we have to ensure that we have the information properly covered. So we're going to have to do some programs on these things. 3,000 votes. 3,000 votes could mean the difference between continuing in the vein that we are now for the next for the next 5 years from when an election is called, and to putting a stop to what we are seeing taking place right now, with the disrespect to the Grenadian people and the disrespect to the intelligence of the Grenadian people. A group of individuals who seem to have no plan So they're just continuing with the different things that the New National Party done, ineptly at that, but continue with the things that the New National Party left to done. And they're still waiting to see, well, okay, well, what them really come and do? What they're doing? And you're waiting to find out. So we have to ensure that, because, again, I've said it here, and I know we're running out of time, but I've said it here before. We can have a situation that the more popular party lose, and the party who is more popular, who is less popular, wins. So you could have, let's say you can have 35,000 people supporting one party, and that's the popular party. And you have 30,000 people supporting the other party. So they're not as popular as the one with 34,000. And you know the party with 30,000 could win? Because if they can get their 30,000 to come out and vote, or they could get 29 or 28 of the 30,000 to come out and vote, and the party with 34 could only muster 20,000 of their people to come out and vote, they are popular support, but they can't win. Election is a numbers game on election day. Who get the most legal votes in the box on that day win. Again, I'm going to continue to ask this question until I start to get answers from some of you constituencies. Do you really believe that you have done enough between 2022 and now? Do you really believe that you have a sizable chunk of that 3,000 people that have registered, that you have a sizable chunk out of that? Or that has been the mechanism of the NDC in operation, registering their people? I know some of you have said that your children have turned 18 and you've registered them, and that's nice and good. You check the list to make sure they're there. Make sure and do so tomorrow and this week and so on. Check the list and make sure they're there. And also check the list to make sure who shouldn't be there, that they're not there. Because this is the most dangerous thing that is facing the electorate. If individuals that legally should not be registered to vote are registered and allowed to vote, and again, you don't know when the elections are going to be called. I'm still seeing people who, you know, you talk with them, you interact with them, and you believe, hey, you registered, and then you hear, but me ain't go yet, you know. They were not registered at during the last election, so they off the voters list, and they just decide they ain't going yet. Are waiting still. They want to wait until when the election date announced, and rain falling, and they have to go and stand up in a line that 300 deep, or 50 deep, and 6 o'clock take you stand up in the line. And then you have to be trying to come out from town or from wherever after 7 and 8 in the night. You have to try and find your way home and all. No. Go now when there's hardly anybody in the constituency offices. Go now and get yourself registered. So we're going to go through here the proper procedure to get yourself registered, what you need to carry with you. Simple things like don't wear no spaghetti strap. Make sure that your shoulders are properly covered and so when you're going to register, because they will not take the photo if you're wearing like what we call sleeveless. Spaghetti strap and them kind of thing. They're not going to take your photo. Your shoulders must be covered. You can't go with them hairstyle that covering your ears and so on. Your hair had to be to the back so they could see your ears. If you have ears, as long as you didn't fight with Mike Tyson, you should have ears, right? So as long as you have your ears and so on, they must be able to see that, and simple things like that, yeah? So that you can go and you can get registered. That you need to carry a valid form of ID, and if you've been married and so on, and your name has changed, and you need to carry your marriage certificate and those kind of things. So folks, we're going to be discussing that a lot more over the next few weeks, days, months. Even if it takes us a year, we're going to be discussing that. Because I think it's important that we all understand the danger that is facing us. If the 3,000 people plus, over 3,000 people that have been registered between 2022, June, and now, if the majority of them are New National Party supporters, Houston, we have a problem. Folks, that's all the time we have tonight for Talking Points. It's been wonderful being here with you, and hopefully Flo will sort out the issues with the phone line, because as I said, it's not the board. It's when you pick up the phone here, you're not even hearing a ringtone. So it is definitely an issue with Flo itself that they are having, and it's affecting all of the system inside here. Even the WhatsApp, for some strange reason, it's affecting that as well. So folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. My name's Sheldon Scott. I'll be back with you tomorrow night with Talking Tuesdays, and our guest tomorrow night will be the Honorable Emlyn Pear. She has a lot to speak about, so we might even start as early as 8 o'clock. You know, sometimes we bring the guests on somewhere down about 8:20, 8:30. Now we might start 8 o'clock with Honorable Emlyn Pear tomorrow. So we're on tomorrow night with Talking Points. And of course, folks, in everything you say and do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. Love each and every one of you. I am out.